Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today's question is how do I set up my lighting for my drawings? Now I use two art lamps, that's all I use, and they're the ones that you can put on a tabletop and just flip them open. So I'll show you in a second with one of my examples. The reason I use two is I like to have one on the left side of my hand and one on the right side of my hand, and this is just going to balance out the shadow that your hand creates on your paper. So if you only have a lamp on one side of your hand or facing, let's say you have one on your left, it's going to create a shadow on the right side of your hand. Now when you create the time-lapse videos, or when I create the time-lapse videos, the shadow just makes you dizzy. There's just so much movement and all you notice is the shadow, and it also seems to create more movement in areas that you don't want to focus on at the time. So it's good to just have the lighting sort of balanced from both sides. Another thing I want to point out is that I have a very big window in my drawing room, and there's a lot of light that comes out of the window. So I used to just use the natural light as well as using my art lamps. If I'm working on something small and my art light lamps are close enough, then you don't seem to notice the natural light moving around. But if I just had to use my natural light or use a bigger picture and have my curtains open so the natural light can also flow through, you kind of notice when you create a time-lapse video that that light doesn't stay balanced. It looks like the light is moving, so it will go lighter and darker and lighter and darker. Because it's natural light throughout the day, the sun is moving, so it's obviously creating different intensities of light throughout the day, and the faster you make those videos, the more you notice those changes in the intensity of light on your drawing. So I would suggest that if you have two art lights, to just use them and not have your curtains open if you can help it, because that natural light does move around a lot. But that is only if you're creating time-lapse videos. If you are not creating time-lapse videos, then have as much light in the room as you want. But also you can have that light in your room if you're working on a small image and you find that the art lights are quite close together, then it will work just fine as well. I do like having a lot of light in the room. I don't like having a dark room, so I like to have the curtains open regardless. So sometimes in my videos you will notice, but it's not such a bad, it's not an incredibly irritating thing because I have the two art lights on as well, and it's sort of balancing all the shadows from my hands. So I think when you start drawing and you start playing around with lighting and things, you'll discover these things for yourself. This is not the perfect lighting solutions. There are some lights that you get for drawing which are like massive lights that you can put over your work, but they are so expensive. It's just ridiculous how expensive they are. The art lights are good. They are daylight lamps, so they don't have this orange shine to it, and you see the true colors of your work, so that's what makes them so useful. You don't want to get just a normal lamp because it has a lot of color, and it kind of manipulates the colors that you're meant to be seeing on your paper, and that makes it a little more difficult. But the cheapest option to go, I think, would just to get two art light lamps for the tabletop, or you can get the really nice ones which are huge and they stand over your work. Either way, Artlight is a very good brand with daylight lamps. They're not that expensive to replace the bulbs, and they last forever, so you're not really going to need to change the bulbs very often at all. So that is my simple solution to getting nice lighting in my videos, and for at least seeing the true colors of things. But there are more expensive and better ways to do it. But if you just want to save a bit of money and you don't want to go too overboard, then this will do the trick. So I have a tutorial that I'm going to start with today. So I've got the worksheet in front of me. So I'm just going to show you how my lights are set up, and I'm going to show you the differences in the shadows in my hand. Bear in mind, I'm going to be holding my phone in my hand, so it's not going to be the smoothest video, so just bear with me. Hopefully you get the idea. Okay, so this is the worksheet that I'm going to be drawing on today, and I have my two art lamp lights next to it. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so tongue twisted. So these are the two over here, and you can see how they fold over. So when you have them closed, you just push them down to get the light off, and then push them back up to get the light on. Now here's an example. If I'm gonna hold a pencil over my work and I just have the one lamp on, you can see all that shadow on the right side of my hand. But if I'm gonna have both of them on, one on my left and one on the right, like that, next to my work, the shadow isn't gonna be as bad. There is still a bit of a shadow, but it's really not that bad at all. And you can just move them more to the sides of your hands if you want, and that would make it a little bit easier as well. And the shadow is just not that bad. And you can see the paper pretty much looks white, which is what you want because it is a very white paper. And the colors are pretty true. They are true to what you can see. There's no sort of orange sheen or different sorts of lightings going on. So yeah, that's the real simple solution, and this works perfect when you're working at night as well. All you need are these two lights standing over your work. When you are working on a really big piece, I do have another lamp, which is not here, it's in the garage, but I kind of put that down the middle. So it would be good to have, you know, one on your right, one on your left, and one at the top in the middle, towards the middle. And then you will have a good balance of lighting from all angles, and that's just going to stop all the shadows. So I'll put a link in the description of where you can buy these lights, and I hope you find it useful. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys soon.